Next on CTV News tonight, rising gas prices.
I'm Byron Scott in Largo. Gas prices, as you've noticed, are up. We'll have that story coming up.
Good evening, I'm Keisha Butts with the CTV News Update. Like most things these days, gas prices are way up across the country. In fact, right now they are at their highest levels since 2014. Byron Scott is standing by with more.
I'm Byron Scott. Take a look behind me here. This indeed may be Valentine's Day, but at gas stations across the country and in our area, there is no love at the pumps. The average cost of a gallon of regular gas is now at $3.49 a gallon, which is 1 cent higher than the national average and $1 higher than Marylanders were paying a year ago. Here at the Sunoco station in Largo, the price is $3.49 a gallon. And with inflation hitting a 40-year high, motorists are getting hit hard.
They're absolutely ridiculous. Like, I have to use 93 and it's $4.29 a gallon here. And I'm on E, so I don't have a choice, but I gotta stop somewhere. I usually try to get it from like a big box store, but you know, when you're out of gas and you're on your lunch break, you gotta do what you gotta do.
As for why prices are up, there are many reasons. We asked AAA Mid-Atlantic to weigh in.
So on Friday, crude oil closed out at about $93.10 a barrel. That's usually the driving factors. And we're also looking globally at what's going on between Russia and Ukraine. That is certainly having a factor in what we're seeing in crude oil prices. And we know that if, unfortunately, there are any sanctions placed against Russia, because of any aggression or any activity as it relates to Ukraine, we could see, unfortunately, them possibly withholding crude oil and seeing crude oil prices go even higher.
What did you pay?
$72.
Your thoughts about that?
That's a lot of money. That's like twice as much as I used to pay maybe, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. Like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
As for when prices will ease, that is uncertain. As for the best prices in your area, go to the web address at the bottom of your screen. I'm Byron Scott.
Meantime, Governor Larry Hogan is ending the mask mandate in all state buildings beginning next week. Hogan cites the state's declining COVID-19 health metrics as the reason for ending the mask requirement. The masking policy for all employees and visitors at state buildings will end on February 22nd. Also, Frederick County will no longer require its residents to wear masks. Meantime, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser announced today that masks will not be required at indoor establishments like restaurants, sports venues, gyms, and places of worship on March 1st. A Greenbelt Elementary School parent is disappointed in Governor Larry Hogan's recent proposal to end the school mask requirement. Danielle Wood spearheaded a petition to extend the K-6 virtual learning program in the county. She says several safety precautions need to be put in place before students stop wearing face coverings. She says if masks are optional, she may take her 5th grader out of school.
At that point, I think we would have to take a hard look at withdrawing him from school. And from what I've heard from many other parents who were against going back in person in the first place to now hear about this mask mandate possibly being lifted, I think they're going to see a lot of withdrawals from children out of the school. And then that leads me to if mask mandates are optional, then let's bring back virtual optional for those parents who can't or don't want to homeschool. Let's give them an option to keep their children safe out of the school.
Meantime, MSDE says PGCPS did not submit a plan to extend its elementary virtual learning program this year. PGCPS says the program was always intended to be temporary. The latest COVID-19 numbers show continued progress in the fight against COVID-19. The number of newly confirmed cases is 425. That's significant when you consider the state was seeing more than 14,000 daily cases in December. The positivity rate in Prince George's County has fallen to 3.41%. 8 Marylanders have died from COVID-19 since yesterday. 751 people remain hospitalized. Prince George's police are investigating a deadly crash. It happened at around 5 o'clock this morning at the 2100 block of Kenilworth Avenue in Capitol Heights. Investigators say the driver ran off the road and struck a barrier. The unidentified male driver was pronounced dead at the scene. The road was closed for hours for the investigation. Anyone who may have witnessed the incident is asked to call police. You're watching CTV News. I'm Keisha Betts. We'll be back in just a moment.
1 in 365 African Americans battle sickle cell disease. I was one of them. Life back then was painful. I was in and out of the hospital and had frequent pain crises. A blood stem cell transplant is the only cure for sickle cell disease. I was fortunate to find a perfect match in my younger sister, but many patients do not have a compatible donor in their families, and Black patients have only a 23% chance of finding an unrelated donor. More Black donors are urgently needed to help save lives. It only takes a simple cheek swab to join the Be the Match registry. Learn more about becoming a donor and access free patient resources by visiting endsicklecell.org today. You or someone you know could be the cure for a patient battling sickle cell, like me.
To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back. It's been 4 years since the tragic shooting at a high school in Parkland, Florida. Today, the father of one of the teen victims has been arrested in the district. Manuel Oliver climbed a crane at 15th and 8th Streets in Northwest D.C. near the White House this morning. According to reports, Oliver climbed the crane in protest to mark the 4th anniversary of his son's death. Oliver's son, Joaquin, was one of 17 people killed at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School back in 2018. The state's highest court has agreed to consider an appeal involving a controversial Prince George's County redistricting case. The order was in response to a ruling last month that tossed out a map approved by County Council and replaced it with one drawn by an independent commission. Critics say Council tried to pull a fast one at the 11th hour, or arguments in the case are set for March 4th. Well, roses are red, violets are blue, and scammers are looking to take advantage of you this Valentine's Day. CTV's Katara Jones is in the control room with more. Katara?
Love is often in the air on Valentine's Day, but the FBI wants to warn you about the dangers of romance scams. The Bureau says criminals create fake online dating profiles claiming to be looking for love and relationship, but it is all a lie. These fraudsters are really trying to steal your money. The FBI says these scammers often target women over 40 who are widowed, divorced, elderly, or even disabled. To avoid getting duped by an online thief, the FBI says never send money to someone you've never met. Also, be careful about what personal information you post on dating and social media sites. Remember, you can report an online scam to the FBI by simply calling 1-800-CALL-FBI. Katara Jones, CTV News.
According to the FBI, the Bureau received more than 23,000 complaints about romance schemes in 2020. More than 100 organizations are pushing back against the Maryland Senate's nixing of virtual testimony. The organizations, including leading labor unions, social justice, and government watchdog groups, as well as voting rights advocates. In a statement, the organization said that ending virtual testimony would limit vital input from everyday residents, particularly people of color, immunocompromised individuals, and working Marylanders. Both chambers have allowed remote testimony the last 2 sessions, but Senate President Bill Ferguson says starting today, in-person hearings will resume. And still to come on the news, more accolades for a high-ranked Maryland school. Stay with us.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Him.
His real name is Darion, and we call him Day for short.
Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's affection, attention, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. Just do it from the right place. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job. I'll say my kid's pretty dope.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. You nurture, we listen. You teach, we thrive. You lift our spirits, but we've got to lay down the truth. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Start saving more for retirement so you can feel prepared and live your life to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
Thank you for staying with us. When Purple Line contractors walked off the job in 2020 over a cost dispute, the project was left in shambles. Now that the state has approved a new contract with a transit consortium called Maryland Transit Solutions, what's to prevent it from doing the same thing? Well, a new contract with MTS now prevents that. The ability to walk off the project unconditionally has been removed from the revised contract, according to Maryland Matters. The state's Department of Transportation also says there is a new process for resolving differences that may arise. A local university receives a special honor. The University of Maryland, Baltimore County is now one of the nation's top research institutions. The Carnegie Classification of Institutions of Higher Education placed UMBC in the Research 1 category. Research Vice President Carl Steiner says he's proud of the opportunities the school provides to students.
For them to be in the lab, to understand what it takes to focus on a certain topic and pursue it, develop their research skills. Many of our undergraduate students have a publication before they get their degree from UMBC, and it allows and sets them up for graduate school, right? And they go to schools all across the country, and you can only do that when you are a very research active campus.
3 Maryland colleges are now considered Research 1 schools, including Johns Hopkins University. Turning to your weather forecast tonight, mostly clear and cold with the lows around 21 degrees. Tomorrow sunny with highs near 41. Wednesday mostly sunny and warmer, highs around 53. Thursday a rainy day with highs approaching 65 degrees. And now for the community calendar. Ready for the National Heart Health Boot Camp? It's coming up this Saturday, February 19th at Tucker Road Athletic Center. The free event runs from 9 a.m. until 10. It's for ages 13 years old and up. For more information, visit pgparks.com and register on Parks Direct. And that wraps up our CTV News Update. I'm Keisha Butts. Have a good night.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers, he connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.